even though it says we're not, but we actually are, because people will be hearing this. How you doing, guys? It's your boy, and with me are my other boys, or my lads, and from top down, damn it, it's Mr. Alcazai. How you doing, you cringy zoomer, you?
I'm fine, I guess.
And why are you gay?
I don't know. I'm not gay. I just
You
fuck
are gay.
men as a hobby.
That's pretty gay.
No,
And you're the bottom too, so that's pretty gay.
there's nothing gay about being the bottom.
Well, you're not a power bottom, I can tell you that.
Oh, dude, if you're fucking Tulsi, you'd be a bottom. Shut up. Anyways.
Only for her thighs.
Insecure sex, see? You're warming up to it.
Do you, Scotch, you thing for insecure? I don't know why.
I bet you'll be after Corona-chan in a bit, won't you?
Oh my god.
And then, Mr. Chicago, how you doing, Chicago liberal?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
That's my mood.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, he saw a black person in his neighborhood. Now he's freaking out.
Well, no, I am the black person in the neighborhood.
No wonder he's freaking out.
So, with us is for a second time in a row. Well, actually, not second time in a row, but for his second appearance, Mr. ScotchOikos from the place up north that snows a lot. How you doing?
Great White North.
The
Yeah,
great,
not
the
too
great
bad.
white
Rick
north.
Moranis.
The big
Yeah, Rick
White
Moranis.
North.
The big white north doesn't exist.
Give us a good Canadian thing. Go on. Say something Canadian.
Oh God, I don't know.
There we go.
Oh yeah, for
Hey,
sure.
you try
Oh, yeah,
Liam
eh.
Neeson?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
James Von Maxwell wants us to Spurg. Well, I did just go. There you go.
Berging has many different forms.
It does
That's what
indeed.
people are here for, man. It's Spergonomics.
Exactly. So anyway, funnily enough, speaking about the nomic side of it, but he's also a Spurg. We were kind of just discussing. Is it David Krugman? Is it?
Paul.
Paul
Paul.
Krugman.
Oh
Yeah.
well, who cares what his first name is?
Yeah, who fucking cares?
But anyway, we were talking about him because he's an absolute idiot. He's like, no offense to Alcazide, but for a Keynesian, he is. No, was he post-Keynesian? Is he? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, I don't even think most Keynesians like him.
Yeah, he's an absolute idiot. Everything he does, he gets wrong. And there's a podcast devoted to him, but not in the way you think. It's not his podcast. It's to are the Austrians?
It's to make fun of him. Actually.
Yes, to make fun of him. And they've even released a book called it's called Contra Krugman. So do you want to go through the worst things he's ever said, guys, before we get into some of the main topics?
Oh my
will
God,
have
yes.
No, yeah, the internet will have no greater effect on the fax machine is one.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he thought the internet was just gonna be a passing fad and it would have no impact on the economy.
Well,
You
that's
see, I think he said that because he was one of the recent subscribers to the news service called Porn by Fax.
porn by
Big-
fax.
Dude, big fax is trying to make the internet seem bad, dude.
As
I
if
swear.
that would make it any more less.
Paul Krugman was invented by the fax industry to sell more fax machines.
You see, that's as bad as that was as bad as saying.
Fax, dude. Big fax is after each and every one of us. I tell you.
See, that was as bad as people in the silent film era saying, "Oh, sound films, the talkies, they're just a passing fad." Yeah, when you've just revolutionised film technology, yeah, it's just a passing fad, right?
We've been in a passing fad for over 100 years, boys.
I mean,
Dude,
never
they'll
mind-
pass sometime.
Never mind that by 1927, most silent films had a soundtrack, thus making all the live musicians obsolete.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. You
Yeah,
better get a
if
good
that'll
speaking
pass
voice.
with the inevitable heat death of the universe.
Well, entropy.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I like was I was reading this book about skyscrapers and their connection, their correlation between them and being built and the next financial crisis, and and he goes into bubbles and things like that. The author and what else? Oh yeah, Krugman constantly gets his facts wrong about bubbles. Like, oh, don't worry, it's not going to break. There's going to be no recessions here because the government's suspending and everything's fine and dandy, isn't it? Look at these skyscrapers and things like that. And it's just like, yeah, 2008 rolls around, and then what do they say? Well, they tried to twist it like, well, we didn't say that nothing bad's going to happen. economics. You can't just predict these things. Come on, mate.
Bro,
Yeah, you
Seriously.
can.
But a lot of people said that the Federal Reserve are basically ran by a bunch of Krugmans. Aren't
Why
they?
do you think it sucks and should be abolished?
What did they say? What's the slogan? Not abolish the Fed. It's something that rhymes.
And the
Ends
Fed.
the Fed.
And the
Yeah.
Fed. Yeah. Like, what's its purpose other than to create more inflation?
To give
Central bank
really shitty economists jobs
Indeed, yeah.
because the private sector will never employ them.
And anyway, so shall we get into the main topics then?
Sure.
So you guys want to talk about the debates? Now I've not really been following them as much, but apparently
Yeah.
shit has been going down. Well, I've been busy. I've been busy doing things, but
Yeah, being an Anglo fag.
well, we know we've got our own politics. But so what's happened, guys? Clue me in, clue in the audience.
Joe Biden is now officially a Chad. That's what happened.
Did he win
Yeah, he
South
was much-
Carolina?
Not yet. That's tonight.
Oh.
The primary results are tonight. But in the last debate, he was really on fire. He was all fired up, and he had this energy from him I hadn't seen in any of the other debates.
It's about time that he had some energy at
Best
all.
part is what he told the moderator, "Shut up, I'm gonna talk because
Yeah.
we talked over time."
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna talk, and he's like pointing his finger at her.
He's like,
Get dabbed on,
talk over
woman.
time, so I'm gonna talk.
Oh, you
The
just know
crowd
what the
cheered.
bloody
Didn't
SJWs
he
would
say
be
like?
like.
Didn't he keep saying, "You listen here" or something like that?
No,
Yeah.
you listen here.
No, you listen to me.
He was also kind of flirting with Gayle King for whatever reason.
Bruh.
I've still got it.
Yeah, he really brought it to that debate. I don't know whether it's because he was sort of desperate and it was his last ditch, but I think it probably worked. He's way up in the polls now, or in most of the polls anyway, in South
Yeah.
Carolina. So
The neoliberal subreddit is going crazy right now, though.
yeah, so we're crazy because they're excited about Joe, or they're worried about Bernie.
Crazy because they're excited about Joe.
And-
They keep calling him comeback kid.
So who's actually won that last debate then?
Joe.
Uh,
Joe by far.
I
So
would
he
say
won the-
Joe.
So he
but-
won the primary as well, or
What? No.
No, just in terms of like who did best in the debate, I'd say Joe Biden did best. Although obviously that's subjective. And
So who did
I don't know
worse?
if the
Probably Elizabeth Warren because
yeah,
she didn't fucking do anything.
she got
All she did was
booed a
attack
lot too.
Bloomberg.
do you mean the deer in headlights?
Yeah, she got it. She got a lot of boos in the debate, and I think it was because even though a lot of other people don't like Bloomberg, she just turned everything into an opportunity to attack him, and it just seemed really. I think a lot of voters probably
Desperate.
thought it was a little desperate or
It's a bit
inappropriate.
forced. Like, yeah, you did that
Yeah.
last time.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that was the focus of last debates, and he's been crushed royally.
Yeah,
Um,
people don't like when you go negative generally, especially in a primary where a lot of people want to see some level of party unity.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Democrats think, I just want to beat Trump. I hate Trump. Orange man bad. Let's get him out of there. Why are we attacking Mike Bloomberg so much? He could be the nominee. He's going to spend all this money. So I just don't think. I think Warren's strategy is currying her some favor with the far left, and she's risen in the polls a little bit from that. But I think it's putting off a lot of the more moderate voters in the party.
And that's
I don't know,
moderate
I
in
haven't- I
inverted commas.
I haven't seen formal data on that, but that seems to be the response online. A lot of people are like, why the hell is she attacking this guy who's
Yeah.
not even the front runner?
Mm-hmm.
So she should be attacking Bernie and Bloomberg.
everybody
Not
was attacking Bernie
Bloomberg.
the last debate,
Or
too.
Booty Judge. Still can't
and
get
then,
over his
and
name.
then Bernie defended Cuba.
Oh, yes, I saw that. He went full Corbyn.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty
like even
yeah,
during the
that's-
debate. It was so stupid.
So what did he
That's
say
he
about?
really shouldn't.
So what did he say about Cuba? That was so amazing.
The literacy rates.
Yeah,
He
sure.
cited literacy rates and the fact that everyone there has health care. But he made no mention of whether or not it's good health care.
Well, they claim that Cuban doctors are among the best in the world, but clearly people of Cuba are not getting enough of that good healthcare because they're in poverty.
Yeah, I mean, their health care is okay for a country as poor as they are, but then you have to ask the question of why is Cuba so poor? And a lot of that's because of communism. Their economic performance since the revolution has been really weak.
And it's
compared
not
to
just the blockade
similar
as well.
countries.
It's not just a blockade.
No, it's not, because even when the blockade was on, they were trading with all kinds of different countries. Hell, they were trading with Canada. Like, it was...
I mean, just
You know,
air,
they
just
got all
airlift
kinds
it
of
in,
goodies
right?
from the Soviets.
You don't need to go by boat to get to Cuba. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, we aren't living in like the 1800s anymore. There's different ways to transport goods.
It's just, well, all the money was going to Castro and his family and his inner circle. That's what was happening. That's what always happens.
If you look at where they live, it's incredible. I'm one of the few Canadians who hasn't actually been to Cuba, but when I see pictures and I hear people talk about it, it's like the level of inequality that's on display in that country, and it's ironic because they're a communist country, but it's just crazy. Like, you look at where the Castros live, and they're like these spectacular palaces, really. And then you see all the homes the regular people have. And, a lot of the Cuba apologists like to say, oh, but they don't have homelessness. But when you look at where they live, they're living in these, like, I don't even know if you call them shacks, really.
Shotgun shack.
Like, whenever Canadians go there, they don't come back saying, like, oh, it was a great country. They say, like, oh, it's poor as hell, and I felt bad for everyone. Yeah. Well, it has nice beaches, which is why they go. But
see, I bet it was better in the 50s. I bet they actually had decent homes. Under Chavez? Not Chavez. What was he called? Batista.
Batista. Yeah, but also under Batista, the mob owned everything.
Yeah, Batista was really corrupt too. He wasn't really a.
At least they had.
Batista was arguably worse than Castro.
Yeah. Well, the people were less poor, so it's kind of like.
Well, I mean, what's it worth for the fucking
what's the
mob?
difference? Yeah, what's the difference for being less poor when the mob can just kill you in the night?
The thing is, wasn't it more like companies from America owned most of the land, not necessarily the mob?
It was the mob.
There were less poor people, but the poor people, I don't know if they were better off than they are now.
Yeah,
they were not.
I mean, they're still stuck in 1950s down there. So
a lot of the middle class. A lot of middle class people fled to Florida after Castro came to power. So it's hard to say necessarily because because they were all in Cuba with their houses and stuff before, and they just up and left. So maybe there would have been like the remnants of a middle class there had they stayed. I'm not sure though. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, so praising communist countries is just not something you do as an American.
He praised China too.
Oh, of course.
The night before. It wasn't even.
How can you praise your rival in American in like world affairs?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like,
it's called being a traitor.
Yeah.
Well, also Bloomberg defends China for whatever stupid fucking reason.
Well, because he's a Chinese asset.
Probably because he has a bunch of investments holed up there.
It's actually absurd that you would even consider doing such a thing. At least I don't think Corbyn went that far. I don't think he went around praising China. I mean, he praised other communist countries like Venezuela and places like that. Cuba, yeah. They were brilliant social warriors for social justice, even though Castro and I know Castro did. He was abusing gays and. I don't think they have a very good record on other human rights over there. And in Venezuela, it's similar.
Also, Che Guevara may or may not have been a racist.
He was a racist, yeah. There's been quotes, and he was also a massive homophobe. He was shooting them as well. And somebody, Min Tran, he's from the Deep Law, I think he was originally.
They also Fidel kicked out pretty much all of Cuba's Jewish population.
Well, again, champion for social justice, isn't it? Corbyn's okay with that.
Yeah, and really, Bernie's made a big mistake by saying all this Cuba and China stuff because a lot of Americans, even Americans that didn't really like Bernie, had been saying about him, like, well, at least he's not like Corbyn. At least he's not going to boost all of our enemies. But he's working hard. He's working hard to convince.
Also, basically, with those statements, he just lost Florida because of their high Cuban population.
Because the thing is, we already knew about Corbyn before he became the leader.
He basically Bernie just whenever he started praising Cuba lost Florida, because the Cubans are not gonna fucking be like voting for the guy who defended Castro. Like, that's just fucking.
Go on. Sorry.
And it's good that some people were attacking Sanders, but it wasn't nearly enough of them. Like, Buttigieg was attacking him a bit, Biden did a little, Bloomberg's attacking him a lot. But really, it should have been all of them. Like, Elizabeth Warren is afraid to attack him. Tom Steyer should have been tougher. And yeah, for Warren, it makes no sense for Warren to attack Bloomberg, because all she's trying to do there is virtue signal to a small number of left-wing voters that she could maybe, like, of uncommitted left-wing voters she could get. But because she's not going to get any of Bloomberg's support. She's not going to benefit if he falls in the polls. So really, she should be attacking Sanders. She's just afraid to because she knows if she attacks him, all the Sanders people will attack her. They'll call her a sellout. We'll never vote for you. You were mean to Bernie, this, that, and the other.
You're mean.
So, yeah, the Sanders people are really toxic. They're by
really
far
are.
the most toxic base of anyone running.
They're violent. They're extremist. Some of them, anyway.
Oh my god,
but,
yeah. There was a tweet that said, "I can't think of a Bernie supporter doing something like really bad." And then
What do you mean, like driving a van into?
I could think.
So here's what Bernie's supporters have done. They've shot somebody. They've drawn a van into a stall with no care for if they kill anybody or not. In fact, he probably wouldn't have minded if he killed anybody. That's what he was asked. Like, do you not think you could have endangered people's lives when you drew into that? Was it a Trump supporting thing, or was it at least one of the Democrat thing? There was some kind of stall. He drove into it to destroy it and potentially them. He seemed like he didn't give a shit. There's been a few left wing shooters that people are not talking about, and yeah, apparently, there's just no issues. There's no problems with us.
Yeah, if these were Trump supporters, like Democrats would be all over it.
Never mind that a lot of his campaign runners are full on communists. Saying we're
that.
And I think Bernie's. I know people like Sargon are saying that it's more the people around him, but I think Bernie knows that that's what they want. He doesn't. He probably supports that. Why else would he have them around?
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of these people to me are just obvious liabilities. Like Linda Sarsour is an obvious liability.
Is she part of the campaign?
Yeah, she's a formal surrogate. I think.
Oh my god!
Part of his campaign. Yeah. So I don't know why he'd have her around if he didn't
because
at least
she's
sympathize with her.
I would say it's because she's got clout with the Muslim vote and well, I don't think she does. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe I can't say she doesn't. She seems unpopular.
Yeah, well, most Muslims in America are black. Like they're not really Middle Eastern. So I don't know if she has that sway. But
she's probably too left wing for them.
Yeah, she's like
most
certainly
Arabs
socially
in the
too
West are
liberal.
actually Christians. So
Yeah,
But,
so I don't know why he has these people.
I think it's
around,
for the pro-Palestine thing as well, obviously.
Yeah,
she's got
probably
connections
to shore
there.
up that support.
And it's for the women's movement as well, which is ironic because she.
Well, she was fired by the women's march.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, actually, there's been a few of them that have been.
Yeah. Because
they're toxic, and let's not forget that while he's doing this, they're also trying to dox people, Bernie supporters. The very radical wing of it. They're doxing people. He's trying to. They're even. I've got an article here, but that states that they were. If I can just find it. There was some Senate candidate. I think it was. She was called. What was she called? Susan Collins. I think it may have been.
Oh yeah, she's a Republican from Maine.
It may have been somebody else. I think I'm looking at something completely different there. I can't find my thing. But anyway, they were sending death threats or some kind of angry, horrible, abusive voicemails to this particular politician. Here we are, I found it. I found my thing because this is from a video. It was Roberta Lang. She's Democratic chairwoman of some state. I don't know. And they were sending abusive messages to her, obviously to try to threaten her to stop doing whatever it is she was doing. And this is what they routinely attack us for doing, yet they're the ones doing it themselves. It's really annoying. And when we call them out on this, and you get people, useful idiots like Shu, saying, "Oh no, hashtag not all. Bernie's not like that," but he's not even apologising for it. He's not even trying to talk about it. He's not trying to tell them, "Look, calm down. This isn't helping." He's condoning it, I would say, but tacitly.
Oh, also, best part about the debate is that all the Bernie people said that the people in the crowd were fucking plants, but.
Well, they would think that they're a paranoid bunch.
I know.
Well, most likely they're the ones who are the plants because they're communists. So that's what communists do. They plant.
His normie supporters also don't really care. Like his shoe supporters just don't care about any of this.
No, they don't care. She don't care.
Yeah, I've been looking through her Twitter trying to see if she mentioned anything about his Cuba thing, but she didn't. She's just completely ignoring it. Probably because she knows she's gonna lose.
Yeah, she knows he's gonna. Well, she knows he'll lose at least one of these debates. and she's also trying to get clout with BreadTube. That's let's just call her out for this crap, shall we? She's been going off the deep end for a while now, all over Bernie, and it's like she's been blocking people, she's been muting people who criticise him. She blocked I think Scrump for that. He called her out on that because Bernie can do no wrong.
Yeah, honestly, she won't head to. It's not just that she likes Bernie. I think she always has liked Bernie. She's also just a massive people pleaser and is willing to change her views to pander to people. And she sees which way the wind's going, and she knows where her bread is buttered now.
Well, so they'll never really support her then because she's damaged goods because of how she became famous. Like, have they ever really?
Maybe she's trying to overcompensate for it now or something. I don't know.
Maybe she should just return to her roots.
Or maybe it was never about...
Maybe she should just shut the hell up.
Maybe, she's a grifter.
Yeah, 100%.
And the thing is, like, a lot of the stuff she was... Skeptic, he's alright. I don't get a lot of the crap he gets.
No, because he still criticizes them for...
The way
he doesn't really warm up with RedTubers as much.
Like when he was talking about the Notre Dame fires, he was really heartbroken over that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if he's as bad as people say he is politically, he wouldn't have been like that, would he?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's alright.
Yeah,
It's
I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, also, being anti-SJW was never really his main focus.
No, he was always atheism,
and
weird
conspiracy
quack.
theories.
Yeah.
Yeah. He occasionally did a video debunking like SJW.
And I don't think he's that insane. It's her that's going insane.
Yeah, and he also dunked on H-Bomber Guy that one time, which was pretty cool.
Because they were going after him, weren't they? So anyway, let's have a look at the chat. Teabag says in German, good evening, my friends?
Whoa, hey, we have Krauts in this?
No, he's English. But we have you.
We have you, germ boy.
Stop it, I'm not German. German.
Yeah, he's now talking about the football. So for those of you who don't know, currently in the English Premier League, Liverpool have been unbeaten for God knows how long. It's been a long time. But they just got beat today, yes.
Yes.
3-0 as well. And they've been... No, bear in mind, they're going to win the league. They've got like 20 points or something. By 20 points.
Yes.
And there's that.
Very interesting.
Chief Moody's here. Fucking Moody. No, there's 2 podcast channels on YouTube that are clear violence of TOS, but YouTube keeps them up. Well, whoever they are, you better report them. Teabag says, it's unsurprising, more than depressing about all that. And Seamus Carmichael is there. Hello. As a Dane, I am sick of how much Bernie wants to appropriate my culture. Well, he's not. Funnily enough, he's not trying to appropriate you. He just thinks you're a certain way when you're not.
He's just an idiot, really.
How many times does the Danish Prime Minister have to come out and say, we are not socialist? At least not anymore.
Yeah, they're not even as social democratic as Bernie thinks they are.
No, it's just they have a reputation for it.
Yeah, because to my understanding, they have private healthcare options if you want them.
Yeah.
I don't even think they have free college there. Like I heard that. This could be wrong.
Yeah, they don't. I think they.
It's just a different payment scheme. Like it's free when you start the semester, but you have to pay by the end, or else it becomes a loan or something. Like he's portraying them all. He's portraying them not really how they are.
Well, the reason why they do this is because they need a shining, bright example of how it actually legitimately works.
And also, each Scandinavian country have really relatively different histories on how they became very economically developed.
Exactly, yeah.
Norway nationalized its oil industry. Sweden, in the early 1900s, reformed the way it governed. It became a parliamentary democracy. And then it slowly drifted towards a capitalist system with some social democratic policies. And then Denmark, after World War II, just...
Denmark had Maersk.
Yeah, they had that. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, to my understanding, the only country that really has like all the social programs Bernie wants, like forget the rest of his policies, regulations, and all that, but I think it's basically just Norway, and they're just an insanely wealthy country because of the
Only
oil.
because of the
Like,
oil, and the problem
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, like they're far richer than
once that
Well,
runs
and also
out,
the
it's
They're
gonna.
responsibly investing the oil money into diversifying the Norwegian economy and investing people's pensions so they have.
Is that wanker again?
Oh my god!
every-
It's the ice cream chick.
It's the ice cream guy, guys. Get your money out for the drugs.
Yes. Dude, he's violating the NAB. Go kill
He
him.
really is violating my nap every day. He was actually an hour early this week once, I think. He may have been talking to me. He arrived at 7. Not 20 to 9, believe it or not, guys. As he usually... Now that's Spergonomics, guys. That is... Every time, without...
stuff we only have on this podcast.
That is real life Spergonomics. Ice cream van man, allegedly, going to an area where it's late at night, well, it's in the evening, at 20 to 8, where all the kids are asleep, blaring his music. Is he hoping for someone to buy an ice cream? That is Spergonomics. Actually, it's the definition of madness. He does it all the time, and I don't know why he does it.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I should spy on him, see what happens. Like, what is he doing?
Get binoculars.
Is he leaving a package? Is he leaving a package that somebody picks up?
He's part of the FSB. He's tracking us down.
Dude, he's just a part of MI6, bro.
MI5, I think it would be. MI6 is for
Yeah,
international
it will be
stuff.
MI5.
Yeah.
Alright, whatever. I don't know.
Maybe he is an MI5 agent stalking me.
Oh, has anything funny happened in UK politics recently, Mitch?
Funny. Well, there was a Jamaica 50 thing that happened.
I heard about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
stupid.
What the fuck is that?
Okay, so basically, there was a lot of deportations happening of criminals, and some of them happened to be Jamaican, and the left went into an uproar because there was a legit administration state fuck up, which is absolutely obscene and horrible and should never have happened. Although it may have its origins actually in the Gordon Brown Parliament, but government, but we don't talk about such things.
God, Gordon Brown, he did
But anyway,
nothing.
that's what I've heard. That the origins of the fuck up started there, but it was made worse by Theresa May. I mean, it's Theresa May, right? So what happened was there's this generation of West Indian immigrants that we collectively call the Windrush generation, because basically the first proper set arrived on a ship called the Windrush, even though they weren't the first Caribbean immigrants we've ever had, but they're the most famous. So for some reason, all these boomers and silent generation types are called the Windrush generation, which is a bit silly. I don't like calling them that, because not all of them came on the Windrush. Some of them arrived in the 60s, not just the 50s. Some of them arrived earlier, some arrived later, but whatever. Basically, we lost all their details. Not everybody in the entire population, just a certain amount, but it was quite a lot of people. And some of them, I think, because of the law, and you know what governments are like, everything has to be by the book. Some of them ended up having to leave. Others didn't. Others they managed to sort out their issues. But it was a complete mess up by the government. And they're trying to say, well, how do we know that these people are not British citizens? And then they were going on about how it's bad. That because these people, like David Lammy was saying, oh, because they're black, they're being deported. Well, no, they committed a crime. That's why they're going. And they've already... The thing is, what happens is... This is a Labour law as well, by the way. Tony Blair. What happens is, if you're a foreign national and you're convicted of a crime, you serve your sentence. So you serve your sentence in a British prison. But then once that term is up, you're out. You have to go. You have to leave.
What? Just fucking
so we put you on a...
Why imprison them?
Yeah,
Well, no, you serve your
sentence.
sentence. No, they committed the crime here, so they do the time, but then they have to leave the country after.
Just fucking deport them.
Well, yeah, we deport them after they've served the time.
Yeah, but don't waste your money. Just
Yeah, well, that's what they do. All right.
Yeah, they probably.
I don't know how it
think, we
works.
have
I'm
to
not.
keep
I'm
the
not.
Rule of law. We have
I
to
don't.
keep-
Yeah, it's the rule of law. I mean, like, if I committed a crime in Leeds, I'm not going to go to court in Manchester, am I? Even if I live here, it doesn't make sense. You do the time in Leeds. You go to court in Leeds. That's just how it works. I don't know. I don't know everything, but that's just what happens. And it turns out that we have all their details. None of them are British citizens, and it's actually justified because a lot of them are murderers and rapists. Some of them have done more petty things, but you shouldn't be committing crimes. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
Deport him to Australia.
I always hate it when people advocate that the state be lenient.
And the thing is,
certain
they were trying to make it out like it was an anti-immigration thing as well. And it's like, guys, is this the hill you want to die on? You're grouping in legitimate immigrants who worked hard and helped rebuild this country during.
Thank God for Priti Patel, honestly.
Well, yeah, but anyway, this is what I don't get. Like, David Lammy will throw the
Who's
wind.
Priti Patel? I don't know.
And she's the Home Secretary. Anyway, as I was saying, basically, they're going to group in the Windrush generation, this group of hardworking boomers and silent generation types who helped rebuild our country during a labour shortage, and have helped develop this economy for well over 80 years with a bunch of criminals. Really? So you're going to group all legitimate people who have committed no crimes, who have done a service to this country, in with people who've done nothing for us, and then they're trying to make us feel bad because some of them have families. Well, again, don't murder people, don't steal, and if it's really that, and also most of them I assume would have been entitled to some kind of naturalisation, but they never took it. So the law's the law. We have to, you have to do the crime. If you do the crime, you do the time, and that's it.
Yeah, it's so fucking annoying.
And don't group these people in with people who've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Like the Windrush generation, it's ridiculous. They're going to vote for you when they're getting grouped in with that. No, this is what I don't get about a lot of left wingers. They, like the group illegals with legals when they're going on about immigration. It's like, that's the worst thing you could possibly do, because if it's one thing I know about legal immigrants, people who come to a country to live and work hard and have a better life, they don't want to be grouped in with people like that who break the law, and who most of them, as we know, are just criminals. That's what most of them are not actually here for good intentions, statistically anyway. Yeah. Why would they want to be grouped in with people like that who cheated the queue?
Yeah, I mean, it's just annoying that also people want to give lenient sentences for whatever stupid fucking reason. Because something similar happened here, where the St. Louis's county executive was caught taking bribes from a construction and insurance company. So he was found and convicted. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison, but he was delayed being sent to prison because his son was born. It's like, dude, fuck you. You go to prison. You don't get to see your son's birth. Fuck you.
Yeah, and you can. It's not like you can't still send them money over. I don't know. But,
yeah, it's not even like your wife.
Well, anyway, I think it's a suicidal PR tactic. Anyway, if you want to equivalate criminals with hardworking people, go ahead. It's your funeral. Because I wouldn't do that.
Indeed.
So, anything else, guys? Do you want to talk about?
Well, we were talking about property taxes for a while before
property
taxes got a little dry.
All right, go on then. What have you discovered about property taxes?
Well, we discovered that one neighborhood in the U.S. has like a 4.3% property tax.
Oh yeah, there's a suburb in St. Louis called
Burb.
Has a 4% property tax rate, 4.3%, something like that.
Yeah, that's what those people must be paying, like $20,000 a year in property tax. That's
depending on the value of their house.
Yeah, but if it's like a $500,000 house, then what's the average house there? Because that's just
I don't know.
I don't know. Don't they just live in shacks in St. Louis?
No, Kirkwood's a very wealthy.
It's just a giant shanty town.
It was a healthy city.
It still is in some aspects.
Yeah, they're only slightly above the poverty line.
I mean, it depends. I mean, the north, it's fucking shit. But in the south, you go to St. Louis Hills. That's basically like the wealthiest neighborhood, I think. So medium home value in Kirkwood is $332,000.
So what's the property tax on that then? What's so special?
4%.
That'd be like 15. What would that be, like 15,000, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
What you'd have to pay?
Yeah. Every year, yeah. It's on the valuation of your house. Yeah, that would really surprise me, because usually the property tax rate is like 0.75% or something like that. Yeah. And even that can be a lot if you live in an area, especially in Ontario, where houses are really expensive.
Why would you do that? Why would you live there? You must be making bank.
Yeah, mainly because how most U.S. schools are funded is through property taxes. So that's why you have like poor areas with like shit public schools. It's because they're funded by property taxes. But since it's a poor area, those houses are worth fucking nothing.
And so they don't get enough money because there's not enough property tax coming in, right?
They don't really get that much money, no.
Do they get state subsidies? I thought I
They
heard
do,
they did.
but it's not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think funding schools through property taxes is absolutely a horrendous
Well,
idea.
I think there's a reason, Brian. It's like that. It's to keep them down there, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably honestly is a legacy of racism in some aspects.
Maybe not even that. I think it's just we don't want these oiks in our nice posh school. Keep them down there. And it doesn't matter if they're white trash or if they're black. Like,
I mean, well, also,
it's
yeah,
to keep the privilege, isn't it? I mean, if
also
you're a
It
rich,
it gives their kid an advantage too. Like if
because
kids go to much better schools, they get an advantage in the economy and
Well,
everything. They probably want to reserve that.
I don't think that they care if another pupil in that rich school is black, just as long as they're rich, as long as they're like them.
well,
It's
but
so long as their kids
well,
getting a good education,
yeah.
better than the other kids.
But also, it didn't always used to be like that because, like, one of the big things that kicked off suburbanization in St. Louis is when the archbishop at the time, Cardinal John Glennon, desegregated Catholic schools and Catholic hospitals, and so obviously the white people, fucking hated that, so they all moved to the suburbs, and that partially, it was gonna happen anyway, but it just happened at a faster rate. Because like St. Louis's population is extremely fucking Catholic, and there's so many private Catholic schools. Like not a lot of kids don't even go to the public schools. A lot of wealthy families will pay on top of the property taxes they have to pay to fund the public schools. They'll send their kid to like a private grade school and a private Catholic high school. And it's, I don't know. It's very.
It's just
That is where the Bernie people have a point. Like in the U.S., you pay less tax overall, but there's so much other shit you end up paying for. Like you want your kid to go to a good school, health insurance, and all this other stuff.
Yeah, like it's like the private school culture here in St. Louis is so weird that like choosing where you go to high school is nearly as important for us culturally and academically as choosing your college.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's like totally foreign to us here. Like
I know,
like,
it's foreign to the rest of the U.S. too. This is a thing that's completely unique to St. Louis culture. Because like, if you ever visit a St. Louis, I guarantee you somebody will ask you before they ask you where you go to college.
where you went to school.
Yeah, where you went to high school, not even college.
I mean, we do. I mean, we have that over here, But it's not like, to find out if you're an oik or not. I think people are just curious. Oh, where did you go to school?
Find out if you're an oik. It's just that like so many people go to so many different high schools.
Oh, right. Okay.
So think about it like this. Obviously you'll have friends at different private schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you might grow up in your neighborhood, and they'll go somewhere else, or you went to the same grade school and they went somewhere else, which happens with both people. So if you meet somebody that went to your friend's high school, and they'll be like, "Oh, do you know so and so?" And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, he was in my biology class." So and then you instantly establish a connection. Or even better, if there's a generational gap, you find out you went to the same high school. That instantly makes you a connection, and especially if you're interviewing them, and they're a potential employer, you'll get a boost up. So it's a very like weird thing we have here. I don't know. I don't mind it. It's just very unique to us. Yeah.
So that is kind of strange. And 4% on like those $15,000 a month, is it? Or is it a year?
A year.
A year. That's still pretty bad. Also,
by the way, on top of that's after you pay all your federal and other state taxes
and local taxes too.
Oh my God! Get rid of federal, state, and local tax. What?
Well, yeah, the state government has to have revenue too.
Well, I would have thought they'd just be giving it by the federals.
No,
that's just too.
Yeah, no, your state taxes in the U.S. will be ones in Canada because you pay for your education and property taxes though. So what are state taxes typically like? Like what are state taxes like in your state?
To state.
What are they in your state then?
I don't know.
Missouri?
Yes. Let's see. Income tax rate. It's also going to vary by your income.
Right, yeah.
Missouri has a progressive income tax ranges from 0% to 5.0%.
Anyway,
well, that's pretty low.
This is all very fascinating, guys. But let's move on. I think so.
No.
Anyway, I was on Twitter right just now, and there's like this old footballer who's been trending because he's been wearing strange clothes on TV, And I just realised who it is. It's one of our greatest ever footballers, at least for England anyway. He's also, funnily enough, somebody who was born in Jamaica but was naturalised English. And he's one of our greatest wingers. He's called John Barnes. He's also one of our best rappers of all time. Because there was England's... Because football teams, right, in this... Over here, right, and in the continent or wherever, we have songs every World Cup and every Euros, right? Or wherever. And my favourite band in the whole wide world, New Order, did a song with him and the England team called World in Motion. He did the rap, and I know it by heart. I actually do. No, I'm not going to rap it unless you pay me.
How much?
$20 super chat. Go on.
All
Or
right,
pound, whatever.
you know what
regional
to do, chat.
regional equivalent
You know
of
what to do,
£20. And now I won't be able to rap it properly, but I can recite
You know
it.
what to do, chat.
You know what to do, chat.
Do this.
£20 or your regional equivalent, and I will recite you the famous words of John Barnes, World in Motion.
Hey, company.
So
I hope
coronavirus.
that they actually do it.
Somebody will. You know somebody's mad enough to give me money for that.
Oh, that would be glorious.
So anyway, coronavirus, is it getting worse or is it getting better?
The vice president of Iran now has it.
Which
And
one
one of
died?
the members of parliament died.
Also,
One
didn't
of the
some,
members of parliament.
Okay, here's the thing. As soon as 3 Iranian members of parliament die, then we know that it will be the equivalent of 1 U.S. House of Representatives member through economics of scale and how much we give a damn about Iranians.
Seabag wants me to rap it, but only if you pay me.
Sorry that I just demonetized your stream, by the way, Mitch. By getting very based on the Iran question.
But the thing is, I think there was there was a meeting between European chiefs, right? You know, like presidents and stuff. Where, I don't know where it was, somewhere on the continent, and the Slovakian president or prime minister, whatever they call him, right? Hang on a sec. Someone just made me laugh then.
They have a president, I think.
Yeah, they have a president. He ended up in hospital with problems with his lungs. You know, the usual coronavirus symptoms. And there's apparently everybody was there apart from one person on Twitter's like every European leader was there. Well, Boris wasn't there. The Swiss prime minister wasn't there. You know, but
the virgin European world leaders versus the Chad Boris Johnson.
But anyway, like, jokes aside, that's kind of worrying if he does have corona. But I've not heard anything since if he has it or not. And he seemed all right. It looked like he was just wired up as a precaution. Hopefully, he probably just has bronchitis or I don't know, pneumonia, which I think coronavirus does cause, doesn't it? Anyway, Greta Thunberg is in the chat. How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? And she said, play the track, karaoke it. How dare you? You're not even paying me. How dare you?
Yeah.
Well, she's
You guys,
16. She doesn't have money.
Mitch, are you familiar with the anti-Greta Naomi? What's her name? The German girl.
Oh, it's the right-wing version of Greta Thunberg, is it?
Yeah.
I don't agree
think
with it. I don't agree with it.
It's pretty lame. It's
It is
just
lame.
way too obvious what they're trying to do.
How old is she?
Also-
14? God.
She's actually 19.
What?
She just looks like jailbait.
What's her name? Sight.
Naomi Sight.
Yeah,
Sight.
Sight.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
Sight.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's not 19. Get out.
She
You're having
is,
me
yeah,
on.
She's 19. She's 19. I'm not trying to bait you into like getting the cops on your ass. She's 19. I promise.
She can't be.
But yeah, I think it's. Yeah, she's 19. I think it's pretty.
She looks well weird. She's got bug eyes. I'm alright.
Yeah. I think what they're doing with her is pretty unethical. Looks like some people say that.
Well, we can't say it's unethical.
wrong.
She's an adult. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
Greta
I
Thunberg
mean,
knows what she's doing, but you know.
I mean, I think maybe I personally don't think you're really an adult till you're like 25. But yeah,
Hey,
she's
I'm an
old
adult
enough to
now.
have some
You're not, kid.
say. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, in her case, like I don't know, because like at least with Greta, like yeah, are some older people using her for politics? Absolutely, but
She is a
she
Spurg
gets
after
she gets
all
a
as
pretty
well,
good
so.
she gets a pretty good deal out of it though. Like she gets to do all this fun stuff, and she gets all this adoration.
Don't get to go to school. Wish I didn't have to go to school at 16.
Naomi's just gonna get eaten alive by the media. It's already started. Like she's gonna get shredded.
Greta Thunberg is not happy with that. Greta Thunberg is not happy with thingy. Just so you know, in the chat.
I wish my parents would give me that much. Would help me get that much.
Aren't you not? You're 18
I'm the biggest
now.
attention whore ever.
Al, you look your age, and you're younger than her.
What's her name?
Naomi Site is SEIBT.
Naomi.
Yeah, she's getting shit from the media now because.
How do you spell it?
SEIBT.
Oh, okay.
She's getting shit from the media now because she revealed and is standing by that she's a big Molyneux fan.
She's a Molly meme fan.
I saw that yesterday. Stephen Michael Davis tweeted that out or something.
She's a Molly meme fan? Oh, she's got shit taste in YouTubers. But anyway, Greta Thunberg in the chat is not happy. She's not happy with Naomi. Donate to Greta Thunberg Foundation.NWO. She's a skank. Moomin looking bitch. How dare she?
A 19-year-old from Munster, Germany. She kind of looks Asian.
No, she has bug eyes.
She has an interesting look to her.
No, she has bug eyes.
I'm digging it.
She looks like Mesut Ozil. Look him up.
Cute.
She looks like a German.
If she turns out to be underage, well, I'm in the borderlands. So
I was like, she's like 19. Like it feels weird for me to say that she's cute.
Guys,
but I mean, she's 19. She's not.
Look up a footballer called Mesut Ozil. She looks exactly like him. He's got bug eyes and he's German.
Mesut what?
How dare
Mesut
you?
Ozil. Just put Mesut, MESUT. Then just put Ozil as in OZIL.
Oh my god! I thought you said Mesut, not Mesut.
Mesut.
God.
He's part Turkish.
Have a better accent.
Oh, sorry. You need to learn English properly.
You don't pronounce your T's. I thought you were saying Mesa.
No, Mesut. The means T. Get it right. It's yank.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm used to people pronouncing their fucking T's.
I don't pronounce my T's for anybody.
It'll be a dark day.
You can see his face, right? She has the exact same eyes as him. Bugs.
It'll be a dark day in hell until I pronounce my fucking T's.
Tell me she does not look like him. It was eye-wise anyway. Bug eyes.
Kind of.
I'm not saying they look like the spitting image. It's just the eyes. Like, no, thank you. I don't want jailbait that look like bugs. I'm alright, thanks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she's a Molly meme fan, so she's not much of a libertarian then.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, she seems to be on the more liberal side of his fan base, but it's still kind of weird.
Why would you want
I
to be his
I don't know how.
Why?
I don't know what appeal he would have to like a young German girl.
Yeah, he seems to be somebody who would appeal to Gen X and Boomer types. Maybe millennials too, but Zoomers, nah, I don't see it. I've never met a Zoomer Molly meme fan.
I sort of liked him for a while, but that's before I realized he was fucking crazy.
Yeah, what do you mean? Did you get defooed?
No, yeah, because like I was just like, you know, back in 2016.
How can you support somebody? He wants to be shot.
SJW stuff, you know. I would just anybody who would criticize, you know, feminists, I'd be like, yes, I am. This is the height of intellectual thought on YouTube.
See, this is why we need Jim Jesus on here, because he's the Molly meme expert. So.
But then I realized. But then I started talking about Then I found a video where he defended apartheid South Africa, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That Byronic Hero, you are committing blasphemy. That New Order song is the greatest soccer song ever, and I will not hear bad things about it.
It was so weird because like he was just shilling for like apartheid South Africa, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that was his alt-right phase, wasn't it? He's a grifter, so he'll go anywhere where the money blows.
Yeah.
Like, I actually wonder how much of Molly meme is legitimate. Like, what is it that he actually believes in? How much of it is not?
He believes in the dollar.
I think a lot of people I think you might overestimate the degree to which people believe their own bullshit. Like, I think it's much easier to voice opinions if you kind of get yourself to believe in them, and if you voice them enough, you start believing them. So,
I mean,
I don't think it's a clue.
I think he just wants. I think he just wants a cult.
People.
I think he just wants to create his own cult. I mean, come on, it's not hard to create a cult. Just fake belief in God. I don't know.
He's an atheist.
Yeah, I know, Seamus. You can be a fan and still not agree with him.
Being Mormon.
But it's more like, well, what does he? How does he appeal to somebody like her? It's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
lives like really close to me, actually.
Does he?
Go
Ooh.
say hi to him.
Oh yeah, dude, he lives like 15 minutes away from where I'm like living, going to school. He's like, I don't want to say specifically like where I am, but he lives like 15, 20 minutes away from me.
Dude, please go say hi to him. Take a selfie with him.
Well, somebody I know, or
Tell
somebody
him-
I guess
tell
he's not a
him-
friend, said that he saw him.
Ask him to
Ask
protect
him
your
if he has
eggs.
a job yet.
What, Keith
You have a
Woods?
job.
No, that's Keith Woods.
Oh.
By the way,
Yeah,
by the
Molly
way, Keith Woods.
breaks it in
Keith
online.
Woods watch time, everybody. He was going on about how it's silly to it's silly for economists or just I guess people who are not Keynesian or what. No, not Keynesian. Just people who aren't stupid. Basically, what he said was like, why are people using? I'm trying to remember what he said now. Basically, why is it that we treat countries like households in regards to economics? So, you know, like we have scarce resources, we have to use it right, and it's like, well, that's because that's life, mate. That's how economics works. Economics is the study or the use of scarce resources for limited. Wait, what was it that Sobel said?
yeah.
Sorry, Sobel, scarce.
Oh, also,
Resources.
It's about
I have a
like
question.
resource allocation.
Who's
Would
this
agree.
Oinker representative guy? He's been liking a few of my tweets lately. I don't know who he is. Like the.
Apparently he's following me, but
I
I'm
mean,
not
I don't-
responsible for those who follow me.
I mean, nor am I. I'm just wondering because he just sort of popped up, and I was like, "Oh, who is he?" I was just sort of curious.
Yeah.
Mitch,
Sorry, yeah.
who's Oinker representative?
He is part of the Deep Law.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let me find the quote tweet that Robin Hood, Greenwood outlaw, said to him.
K.A. Sargon.
Because he has the full quote. It's not Sargon. I think he's an American. But where is it? It's here somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been blocked by Owen Jones finally.
I was blocked by him on my old account.
Thank God. I've been waiting for that moment.
I'm not blocked by him. I don't think.
I've been getting away with it all my life, and he
What did
finally
he block
blocked
you
me.
for?
Oh, I don't know. I used to quote tweet him a lot.
Yeah, I've been blocked by Nick Fuentes, but not Owen Jones. What the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah, I've been blocked by Nick Fuentes too. I think it's
Same, yeah,
because
I
I
did-
told him to get a job.
I told
I
him.
didn't even
I
add him.
called them a faggot.
I didn't add him, so he must have name searched me, but he blocked me. I think for criticizing him for claiming that he's not an alt-righter because he's not doesn't believe in a post-American.
I think Keith
ideology.
Woods has been saying more dumb economic shit.
We need to reclaim socialism from the left.
Yeah,
That was ages ago.
Isn't Keith Woods like basically a communist or something?
He
But, like,
is
yeah.
a fascist. That's what he is. Which is economically, there's not much of a difference between commies and fascists.
Well, it depends. I think he might like in his case though. Does he believe in private ownership of property, or does he believe in like state ownership? Because if it's state ownership, then he's just straight up
Mostly,
communist,
I would
maybe
say
an
most of
asshole.
it is he prefers the state to own it.
So yeah, I don't think he's.
But remember,
even
the
a fascist
fascists didn't
then. He's
believe
like
in-
a Nazgul.
Well, the fascists didn't believe in private property either. So
Mussolini did.
No, they believed in private property. Just the state would sometimes like tell them what to do.
so it's
Which
not
isn't the
actually
same.
private property then.
Well, but it's not the same as state ownership though, because in state
Yeah, but-
ownership, then the
no,
state's
never mind.
managing it all the time.
I
It's
can't
not
find
just,
the,
like,
the full
the odd
quote,
intervention.
but basically he was saying that it's stupid that we treat countries as if we treat them as if they're like households where you only have a limited amount of money, you have a limited amount of stuff, and you have to budget. And it's like, mate, that's what countries do on a bigger scale. We don't have a lot of money. We don't have
Is he a fan of modern monetary theory?
Well, I don't know, but anyway, look, no country in the world has unlimited money. States can't just bring out money out of thin air. We have a budget that we have to allocate every year. Especially if you have state programs and stuff. It's stupid. The state has to pay for things, and they only have so much that they can pay for. That's why a lot of promises are never made because there's no money. It's stupid. And apparently, Greenwood. Funnily, I was looking for the quote. Robin Hood was taking the mickey out of him. So do you want to hear some select choices? Some really good ones.
Sure.
I'm sorry, taking the Mickey? What?
Taking the piss, making fun of
Oh.
him. Anyway, we should have listened to Keynes, and we wouldn't be in this mess. Let's destroy Globo Homo by nationalising stuff. That'll show him, Keith Woods. If the Reds use state money rather than corporations to build a bridge, they might still control everything. But at least us Blues can have something to be proud of. That's a good. I don't know if that's a direct quote, but it's still quite funny. One is the best safeguards against Reds. One of the best, I guess it is. One of the best safeguards against red pushing anti-blue content on our people would be to nationalise the media.
What's red and blue mean?
I think it's. I think Robin Hood is just using like hypotheticals. I guess reds would be the left and the blue would be the right, I guess. But I don't know if these are actual quotes or just him making very, very believable quotes based on things that Keith Woods has said. Note how the BBC has prevented them taking over Britain like they took over America. Yeah, it's like what I do when I make pretend quotes of people.
Yeah.
But not in the fake news way, just in a
my
mocking
God.
way, you know.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Dude, Zuby got fucking banned off of Twitter.
Yeah, I heard about that. Dude. What, he said okay boomer and got banned?
No, he said okay dude to a trans activist.
Dude is like, it doesn't even have a gender connotation anymore.
Yeah.
Twitter doesn't care.
This is what I don't like.
Also, I don't know. I kind of didn't care about it because I don't like Zuby anyway.
Well, we probably should care because...
I mean, yeah, he should have gotten banned.
That could have been you.
It could have been.
You should always care because, well...
I mean, I do.
Let's be honest.
I do. I just care a little less.
But the thing is, this is what I don't get about this, is why do these people have so much bloody preferential treatment? What is so special about him?
Also, Zuby blocked
because they have both genitals.
Well, they don't.
They want both genitals.
Well, no, they want one because they're called trans. So one or
let me make my joke, Mitch.
It's not working.
Fuck you now.
Yeah, Zuby blocked me because like a while back, he started like a thing where you could like DM him money and he would tell you like the quote secret to success. And that fucking just sketched me the fuck out. So I DM'd him a picture of a snake oil salesman and said, "This is what you are."
Well, if I ever meet him because of my connections, I will get him to unblock you. Maybe.
I don't care.
He's British, right?
No, he's American.
No, I don't. Okay. I don't care that he has to be blocked. I just find it funny that he's such a pussy.
I think it's a Jimi Hendrix situation where he's been bigger in Britain first, and then potentially might go stateside. I don't know. I've never heard his music. He doesn't seem to share it on Twitter.
Nobody cares about his music.
Yeah, he might be good. I don't know, but I wouldn't bank on it.
Well, then also it's not from my here. It's not even like good. It's very like tame. Because like originally the rap scene was just like it was just a way for black people to express their frustrations with like a society, specifically police brutality. I mean that's what Fuck the Police was all about. And Zuby is just kind of like this guy who's just appealing trads and like fucking conservatives.
I mean,
who like
he can appeal to everyone, you know.
Yeah, but it's just weird.
I know, but you know
we're gonna make fun of him anyway.
Yeah,
it's our job.
I'd rather him be more successful than bloody Stormzy. God.
But hey, since I have my no context TED account, I could still stalk Zuby's Twitter if I ever need be.
Should I go make a no context SpongeBob picture account?
Who, you? I'm pretty sure there's already one.
True.
There might be. Let me look.
Owen Jones looks like the missing member of the In-Betweeners. He looks nothing like somebody who could be an In-Betweeners. Remember, they've got to be a bit loser. They've got like a loser. He just looks like he's, middle class. He's, friend. I don't know. I can't imagine him being an In-Betweener. But I guess you never heard of the In-Betweeners, have you guys?
No.
Yeah, never mind.
I'm surprised you haven't, considering there's been an American remake. But But it was a British TV show about a group of sixth form lads, which is high school senior. I always have to reiterate that. And they're just being teenagers, right? And it was really funny when it came out. And basically, there's many famous clips. One of them is this guy he's not a friend, he's an acquaintance. So he's talking to his mates, and he goes, "Oh, who's that guy? Who's that? Come on, guys! Come on! I'm talking here."
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So anyway, oh my god, what are you doing?
Sorry.
I'm trying to talk.
It's something I put in no mic.
Yeah, but you can do that later. I'm trying to have a podcast here. The chat can't see it. So what?
I'm sorry.
Here, I'll go and... There we go. Now you can talk.
Anyway, so where was it? So there's a scene where he sees this guy that he plays football with, and they go, "Who's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's my friend from football." He goes, "Oh, friend, oh, football friend." It's just fun. It's just silly like stuff that you make with your mates, you know, when they take the mickey out of you. But then they do it too much. So like they do it to him again when they're walking down the street, and then he ends up jumping on the guy's car. He goes, "He's not my friend," and then it turns out the guy saw everything.
Oh.
If Owen Jones wasn't in between his character, he'd be a bus wanker. That's another good. That's an actual quote, by the way.
Oh my god, dude! Speaking of being a bus as a backup.
But do you know what a bus wanker is?
No.
Basically, a bus wanker is somebody who has to wait for the bus. That's what in between is created because they're just the teenage lads, right? So some of them can drive. They're driving down the road, and then one of them gets out the window and goes, "Bus wankers!" And there's a thing that they popularised for
a bus wanker.
I'm not. Oh yeah, I am. Yeah. I actually am.
Yeah, I can drive.
That feeling when
I'm probably gonna have to be a bus wanker too.
Haha. Now, wouldn't you be more of a coach wanker because America you seem to have nothing but coaches, single deck coaches.
Yeah.
You need double deckers, man.
All the Go buses. There's like this service in Canada, in Ontario, the Go bus, and it's like a bus that goes between different cities and everything, and they're all double decker, and they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been on one of them. It's well cool.
Yeah.
You even get shitty Wi-Fi. For some reason, it didn't work for me, but it worked for the guy in front of me who'd driven. He was actually a driver as well. He'd driven all the way from like the north to the south, and that was his shift over. And then he got on the bus because he must have lived probably close to my city, and he had perfect HD Wi-Fi. I don't know how he did it, but I couldn't even get on. I was like, why is it not working for me? Also, I figured out something because I went to London a while back. I tried to plug my phone in to the USB ports. I was wondering why they're not working. But then the bus turned on and they started working. Oh, the battery, I see. The more you know, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, some people are backing me up on the whole fascists don't believe in private property, by the way. And Kev Brav says
because
here...
they don't.
Yeah, it was private property rented out by the state. Well, I mean property rented out by the state, sorry to quote him correctly, with conditions. There you go.
It is quite literally nothing outside the state and everything within the state and nothing against the state.
Indeed.
Yeah, but it wasn't controlled by the state at all.
Well, it was.
It wasn't like managed by the state.
Yeah,
they had rent control and everything. Yeah, of course it was.
No, but like not. Under socialism.
Here's the thing, though, Scotch.
Whatever. Okay, fine. Yes.
Let him speak, for the love of God.
I was trying to talk to go and respond to him.
Scotch first, and then Chicago first, then Scotch. Go on. I have spoken.
It's not the same. It's not like the same as socialism because even though the state has influence over industries and resources, and basically like over all the firms if need be, it's not managing them at all. So it's not the same as like socialism or communism or total state ownership because what you'd have is a bunch of private businesses that the state will like occasionally intervene to direct to do something. It's not the same as like the state controlling and managing like all industry all the time. Like it's clearly not the same thing. And like, there's nuances and like hairs to split about everything. And we tend to do that on this podcast. So I don't really get why you guys are like really insistent on saying that like,
I never said it was. I never said it was the same. I just said that they both don't believe in private property. And besides, fascism is an offshoot anyway.
Well, would it be better to say maybe that instead of saying they both don't believe in private property, or suggesting like they both have the same attitude to property,
but they both don't.
But they don't believe in like free markets. Like they don't believe that like private owners are free to do whatever they want with the property all the time. I think that's
that means that you don't believe in private property because private property also means you get to do what you want with said property.
Not always though, because like most countries have restrictions on what you do with property, like in some
Yeah.
form or the other. There's never like complete free over private property. It's just
Yeah.
it's a question of like relatively free versus relatively publicly owned property.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
like,
here's-
think of it in context of like zoning, like R1 zoning, right? There are
Here's the-
specific plots where you can only build like single-family homes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
still
that's
private
not-
property, restricted.
Nowhere near as restricted as a fascist society, wherein if you are a business owner and you sell to a group of people that the state doesn't want you to, they will just move on in and then cancel your order and maybe even just throw you out and find a new owner.
Yeah.
They can do stuff like
That's
that, but
not
most
private
of the
property.
time. But like most of the time, it's just business operating how it would operate under a more free system. Most of the time, then they'll intervene here and there. So
Yeah.
it's not really like socialism. It's more
They
like
force you
it's
to
more
only
like hold
trade
on,
with
hold on.
certain people.
The thing is, what you've got to remember
Well,
is
it
I never.
depends. Like some of them don't like it. Like some businesses might not be affected very much at all by a fascist government, right? Like most
Well,
of the time,
they
they're
are.
well, it
Because at any
depends on what they're
moment,
doing.
any moment you can be told to do a certain thing, to create a certain thing by the state, and if you don't even reach your quotas, because that's what they are, if you don't reach your quota, they can just take it over from you. They will compensate you, but that's what can happen.
But you're still like most of the time
just-
these businesses
and
are
look
and
at
you
what
never know,
happened
and you
with
never
Trump.
know, you never know what you have to give them at any moment.
yeah. So is that like that's not the
In
same
our
as,
system,
like,
that doesn't
having
happen.
everything.
That's
Yeah, but,
exactly
like,
what
there
happened in
have been
Italy and
regimes
Germany
before,
in the 30s.
But there
Oh, yeah,
have
and
been regimes
that was-
that aren't like fascist or socialist that do that kind of thing, that are very interventionist. Like having an interventionist government in the economy isn't the same as the government owning everything. That's just like
but they
hefty
do.
regulation
In Nazi Germany, the government did own it.
They didn't
Same
own
with
all
the
They
industry.
did own
Fascist
it.
didn't
Yes,
own
they
all
did.
things.
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
They did. Yeah, they
Look
put
at
it.
it.
No,
Look at
they.
what-
They
Yes,
didn't
they
own
did.
all industry.
Right,
Just 'cause
do
they
I have to-
sometimes told
right.
businesses what to do? They
Yeah.
Do
didn't
you
even
want
Yeah,
me
they
to
did
go
own it,
read
though, yeah.
to you the entire history of Krupp Steel
Right,
from 1933 to
Did they
1945?
own everything? Did they own everything in Germany? They didn't own everything
Yes, they
in
did.
Germany.
De facto, they did own it.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think
De
the
jure
government
they did
telling
not,
them what
but
to
They
do.
de facto,
they
yeah, they did.
legislated
They owned
to
it.
get rid of private property, and then they grouped everybody into unions or syndicates, whatever you want to call them, and all these industrial giants were part of these unions, which were
so the
state-run unions.
So the argument for fascism being like socialism or whatever is that it's an ideology where like the state is the people are the state, and everything is like ultimately subservient. Everything is ultimately part of that.
Yeah,
Right,
because
but, like,
fascism
to some degree,
socializes
like-
human beings.
But to some degree, though, that kind of mentality can apply to other forms of government that nobody would call socialistic. Like in
Yeah, but it
terms of
is.
not really. Like, they didn't
It
run
is.
their, for one, they didn't run, like, Mussolini didn't run the economy the same way that, like, a socialist government would, per se. Just because the companies were ultimately, when the rubber hit the road, would have to be subservient to him when he asked, didn't mean that it was, like, a socialist kind of managed economy in the same way. Like,
Wasn't a
there's...
request though. He just took it.
Like, he could tell them what to do, and if need be, he could intervene. But like, it wasn't. It's different. Like, it's not the same. And just because, like, to some degree too, every government, every country operates under that. Every nation or whatever operates under that fascist idea that like everything is sort of the government, like everything is subject to the jurisdiction of the state. That doesn't mean that. And everything is ultimately supposed to serve the needs of the people, which is represented by the state. So there's all kinds of governments you could point to that would be similar to these fascist states, although to a lesser degree, that like nobody would call socialist because they aren't socialist.
You're not
The Nazi
giving us
government
any
took a step-
examples.
And that enterprises should be brought in their hands wherever possible. State ownership was to be avoided unless it was absolutely necessary. Shipyards, railway lines, shipping lines, and welfare organizations, and more were privatized.
No, they weren't.
Germania
There was
were-
no. There was no
not
privatization.
privatized at all.
There was no privatization. It's actually a mistranslation, which was done to make out that the National Socialists were nothing like the were not socialist. Basically, it's not privatization. It's actually grouping them into bigger or smaller unions, basically syndicates. So they're creating state-funded, state-run cartels. That's what it was. It wasn't privatization.
Well, here's an academic paper.
Yeah, I know which one you're referring to. It's not what you think it is. It's not. It's not what you think it is at all. No, that's not even what he even ends up saying in it. It's not privatization. It's a mistranslation of what the Nazis would have said. It's not privatization. It's just coalescing it into government-run, which is the party. Remember, the party is the state. The state is the party. Into state-run unions. That's what they were doing. They weren't privatizing it. They allowed certain amounts of competition because Hitler knew that you can't really avoid that.
Do you know what paper I'm talking about?
Yes. I know it's the one. I don't know the name exactly, but I know it's something that communists always quote to say, "Look, the Nazis were capitalists because they privatized." Yeah, I know which one it is.
The Role of the Private Property in the Nazi Economy: The Case of Industry by Christoph Buchenheim and Jonas Scherner.
Yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, but literally in the intro it says.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
In the interest of the third right, it's often considered to be your nominal.
They literally abolished it. They abolished it. The first thing they did in 1934 was abolish it. They literally abolished the private property rights that the Weimar Republic had in its constitution, and the pretext was the fire, the Reichstag fire. They got rid of it. Nobody had private property rights. You had your house, but you didn't actually own it. You had your company, but you didn't actually own it.
Just because, assuming that's true, just because you don't have
the formal
right doesn't mean. Like I said, I'll grant it 100%. Taking that as true that they did that, you don't have to have something formally enshrined as a right to basically have it, right? Like,
but they didn't
we don't have private property enshrined in Canada and a lot of other places, but we still. But
the Nazis made a law getting rid of it.
That's why it's very easy to go and rescind parts of your property rights in places where it's not explicitly stated to be a right.
But anyway,
in most places it's not stated as a right. Anyway, I don't think we're gonna really.
Yeah, we're going over time now, guys. Anyway, but anyway, last words. Chicago.
7-Eleven was an inside job.
Okay. I had to think about that for a second. It's like, well, okay. Alkazai, any last words?
Joe Biden's going to win South Carolina, and fascism has private property rights.
It does not. But anyway, ScotchOikos, any last words?
Inshallah, brothers.
Inshallah. Ali. Oh, I forgot what it was. What is it? Ali du I don't know. Anyway, it's. Well, salam's the greeting. Inshallah's God wills it. Deus fault, guys. Deus fault. That's exactly the same thing. See you later.